one sleeping lion. Well, there was one sleeping lion. I was going to say one sleeping lion, one half awake lion. Both perfectly content in their own right. The Prada, one of the sisters, Sophia or Lacey, I can't get a beat on it just yet, but maybe if she perks that little lion head up again, I might be able to tell at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And of course, on this Tuesday, we are also celebrating another installment of our Operation Healing Habitats summer campaign. We're talking about Leopard Shadow. So I'm looking forward to talking with you about Miss Leopard Shadow, one of the legacy rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. All of the rescues here at the Sanctuary are unique, special, and we hold them in our hearts forever. And there's certain rescues like Shadow, for example, that just wedge their way in there just that much further. So looking forward to talking about that pretty gal, connecting with you all. And I might be starting with the Ukraine Pride, but I do want to keep it kind of Shadow focused. And I want to go over and check out the status of her former habitat so you guys can see some of the construction that's happening over there. You can see your donor dollars at work, certainly. Of course, I do want to talk about some of the exciting little remembrance keepsakes that have been added into this giving campaign as incentive. And yeah, so certainly going to keep it Shadow-centric, going to keep it, overall just light. Looking forward to kind of visiting with the cats, talking this giving campaign, and seeing what's happening with everyone. And of course, on a day where I really want to have a good conversational live post, I can tell the comments are doing a little bit of, they're about as slow as the molasses in January here. But welcome, everyone. If you are joining us, come one, come all. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It is good to be live here at the Sanctuary, and it'll be even better to have you along for the ride. You might be able to hear some of the sounds of summer here at the Sanctuary, and you might think, well, maybe that's Sanctuary. Spaces are going to be as prim and proper as they can be for cats like Prada, and all the types of areas to still stay shaded and cool, but still maybe mowing that grass down a little bit lower than we would in some of our more young or youthful rescues, I should say. There go my comments, Miss Prada. Let me get a good look at you, cutie pie, as we get some hellos here. There we go. Well, at least everyone could hear me complaining. Marcy remarking about my slow as the molasses in January comment. Marcy, glad to have you. Not molasses running uphill? That's what I always used to hear. I think in Minnesota, anything you can relate to winter, it really hits home with us northerners. Lily saying, OMG, hi. Hey, Lily. Glad to have you with us. Another comment from Marcy, those keepsakes are amazing, referencing the Shadow keepsakes. I have Prada's bowling pin. Speak of the devil right here. Bowling pin lamp yourself. Well, that's so cool, Marcy. And exactly that. I think that there's so many reasons to step up during these fundraising campaigns. Just knowing that your gift will be matched, knowing that you're making a difference for the rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And now, after today, also knowing that there's a little something extra for you if you were to give a gift of $100 or more. So I appreciate that plug, Marcy, because that helps facilitate my plug. Linda Keener, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Linda saying, miss you, sweet Shadow. Oh, don't we? That's one of the things that I was hoping to kind of start a conversation about. I know it may be hard just to think of what, is just one, but what is your favorite memory of Shadow? Because that's one of the things that this Healing Habitats campaign is creating those spaces, creating those healing habitats like Shadow got to benefit from for the next rescue, for the next Shadow, for the next legacy to be shared with other rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I'm about to get a springy lion here, I can tell. And so I'm hoping to hear in your comments as we kind of go through today's live post. I know I've already thought of a couple, and I know I'm asking you for one. But what is your favorite memory of Leopard Shadow? And just to kind of map the idea of those moments of Shadow kind of rolling in the grass, or doing her leopard saws, or coming up and greeting the caretakers. Those are the types of compassionate moments that we wish for all of our current rescues and all of our future rescues. So that's kind of the theme that I want to bottle on today's post, Miss Prada. And certainly thinking about how a cat like Prada is well on her way onto that kind of image I was describing of where Prada was rescued from a war-torn country. Prada was rescued from Ukraine to think of the life she has now versus the life she could have had back home. Our cats. And I think that's just one thing that's so special about this Healing Habitats campaign. It's going to be a bumpy ride service-wise, but it's going to be a bumpy ride. Marcy Sanborn saying, hi, Susan. Sarah Blumberg answering my question about what was your favorite. And I might have to run away to greener internet pasture. Yeah, well, I'm going to get a little closer to the building, and then here's over this way. It's going to be a bumpy ride. All right, I'm running. You can see some of the expert animal care interns kicking butt, doing some mowing in large cougar yard in Cougar Cove. But, all right, well, Prada's helping me out by, even the paparazzi moves. My subject looks like she's coming with me as well. So here we are, everyone. I think we have a little bit better service here. I wanted to take today's live post to talk about our Operation Healing Habitats campaign and us featuring Miss Shadow this week. And pre-Miss Prada, I was asking the folks to offer up their most cherished Shadow memory, and there's so many with a cat like Shadow, and to see that once my internet comes back. Linda K, you mentioning that your favorite Shadow memory is running along the fence with big tigers. I know that Shadow had a few big cats along her shared wall, and well, Shadow in particular was one of our independent female rescues. We have a lot of those independent female bobcats in particular who know what they want, they know how they want it, they know when they want it. So I can think of Miss Shadow. Could she be tolerant of some cats? I think Mohan was a bigger cat who she didn't cat who Shadow shared plenty of choice words with. Oh, this is another one from Linda, and I'm going to be sure to make my way all around here to everyone offering up their favorite Shadow memory. Linda giving us this saying, and her legs hanging off the sides of her log when she slept. Shadow and those hanging legs. I mean, it just looks like I don't know what, a young kid hanging from a jungle gym. Shadow, and as many of you guys know, our habitats are not just these free-roaming habitats for us to lob our rescues in and for them to do with it what they please. We want to give them a species-specific space. And Shadow, a black leopard, well, her wild counterparts are climbing and are utilizing vertical space. And here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, well, Shadow got to do that here at a sanctuary level, and her climbing logs and her positioning herself on those climbing logs to where her legs are with me. There's so many photos, even of Shazam. It's really kind of a leopard characteristic that he would even hang his legs off like that. Sarah Blumberg asking, Shazam is still with us, right? That is correct. Shazam is still with us. I got to see that handsome leopard earlier today as he grumbled and kind of gave me his typical Shazam grumpiness, which I'm all for. Let's see if I'm missing a few comments on some favorite memories of Miss Shadow. There's Linda K again. Pretty sweet Prada. There's Jill checking in, saying hi to Miss Prada. Jill, I'm sure you have some favorite memories of Miss Shadow. You're one of our Chores and More volunteers. You got to meet that precious gal a few times. Jeannie Curry, I think that's just such a larger point to make about Shadow. And Jeannie Curry pointing out that Shadow was so comical and full of life. She was. I think that Shadow really was one of those cats who was goofy. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Shadow was just goofy. Hey, she had this certain little pep in her step. I think those are some of the memories that I think about. I saw a lion head perk up here for a moment, which is why I was going to zoom in. But those are some of the memories that I, kind of quickly come to my mind are just this goofy, happy, content little cat who always did we respect Shadow as the black leopard that she was, but here this black leopard would come and roll and show her belly and rub up against the habitat wall. There's just a certain air to Shadow that she just had a gleefulness to her and a sense of playfulness and very comical. And I think the last thing you ended with, Jenny, full of life. Shadow was full of life. I think that was probably something you all can agree on as we are on this live. We're always on these live posts together, are when maybe new people are coming into the sanctuary and are saying, gosh, how old is this leopard? This must be a young leopard. And they're tuning into Shadow, and she's maybe in her 20s or late teens. And that's just how vivacious of a cat she was and energetic of a cat she was, even in her senior years. And so I even think that is a testament to Miss Shadow, is, the passerby coming in on some of these live posts and being like, well, that cat must be really young based off how they're acting. No, that was our senior Shadow or our geriatric Shadow even. She had that pep in her step up until the day she left us. I'm seeing if I can find Gino and Sophie over here, but just a little appetizer. I'm hoping to head all the way over to our Roar Ridge area, which would be Shadow's former habitat, and is kind of the ground zero for some of the healing habitat construction that's happening right now at Sanctuary. You would have also seen in today's e-newsletter, just kind of putting into perspective some of the ways that your donation is making a difference during this campaign, and a little bit more of a, kind of real life perspective. I'm knocking on a poll there. We have kind of itemized some of the cost of what it's going to take to the materials to build these habitats, I should say, and what your gifts help when you give a gift of anything from $500, $250, $100, helping with things like the hardware to get the fencing up, poles themselves, big boulders for the caves, all the different ways that you can envision a big cat habitat and how your support is making that possible. Gino and Sophie have themselves quite the catnap going. Overall weather today, it's getting on the warmer side, not hot like we're all experiencing over the weekend, but certainly a day where caretakers are sure to give cats all of the kind of cooling enrichment that they would need. They're sure to, maybe if there's cleaning where a cat would be locked inside for an extended period of time or locked outside for an extended period of time, sometimes they're going to postpone that just to make sure that the cats have all types of options during these kind of warmer days. But ultimately, not too hot out today. Quickly going to run over to Aurora and Alana, and unfortunately I think my comments did it to me again, and I was able to see everybody's contributions to my questions about your favorite memory of Leopard Shadow, but unfortunately everything cut off, so I'm not avoiding answering. Believe me, I want to answer, but I can imagine that Facebook wakes up here in a moment. But I'm going to zoom in on Alana and Aurora, and hopefully it will catch up then. And then we're going to head over to Roar Ridge and do a little bit of walk through Shadow's yard. And again, just celebrate what we were able to make possible for Shadow, and also acknowledge that it's an amazing thing what we were able to make possible for Shadow. And now we want to use that as a foundation for other rescues coming to the Wildcat Sanctuary, our current rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, to give them that perfect wild at heart life that Shadow got to enjoy. Kind of similar positioning as Gino and Sophie, kind of the yin yang pose with both of their backs to each other there. Very symmetrical ladies. So one comment come across here. Looks like Trevor's joining in. Hey, Trevor, checking in, saying hello to the beautiful babies. Howdy, Trevor. Matt P saying, nice kitty. All right, everyone, we're going to do a little song and dance and work ourselves around the corner here. I will say that there's been some cat moves. You know that last week's live post with Tiger Noah and his wellness exam and stem cell treatment that happened last week, that was also triggering a move for Noah. So Noah has made his way over to Roar Ridge that I'm going to be walking around. The big guy's been settling in well, but we want to make sure that we get some good documentation of Noah and his good space, in his new space, get his sponsors updated, and then we'll be featuring that big lug on a live post soon. And then also, you guys are stuck with me for the rest of the live. Miss Lucy, Precious Lucy, who's also here in Roar Ridge, has been shifted inside for the day just with some of the construction that's happening and the proximity that the construction workers are in to Lucy's space. So, buckle up. It's just you, me, and your support as we take a look at what it is making possible here in Roar Ridge as 2 new big cat habitats are being built. You'll surely see the boys from northern Wisconsin fence kicking butt as they continue to erect this habitat. And you also would have seen on our Facebook post this morning a little bit of a kind of progress shots and just to see. I was flying a drone and taking photos of this habitat last week, and just under 7 days, I think if you were to go back and look at it now versus what it was then, I think the Northern Wisconsin fence deserves a round of applause and then some. And be sure to share that round of applause with yourself as well. So, I know that the other week as well, Olivia and I did a quick little tour through this space, but I'm going to go and stand up on this big cave here. Well, if I can get there. Ow. All right, everyone. There it is. That is such a huge cave. I think we got to see this from the outside of the yard last week, but this is a new cave that you guys helped us purchase. These are some of the big $500 rocks I was talking about. I think it's easy to see while a lowly rock is still going to be that price tag with the size that it is and getting it in here. But man, is it just one of a handful of amenities that this campaign is also helping with. It's not just helping build the habitat, it's helping furnish the habitat, if you will. It's helping put the types of things in these free roaming spaces that benefit our rescues. Going back to talking about Shadow and her hanging her leopard legs off her log. Well, that's something a leopard likes doing, and we're going to make sure that any of our future rescues, climbing cat, lion, tiger, what have you, is going to have what they need. Stepping up on this little platform here. Zoom out a little bit. Sorry, everyone. And tragically, my comments have not returned yet, but please, 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 our little kind of prompt and question of the day, I still hope that you'll input your answer in the comments. And Olivia and the media team, we're going to be checking in on your answers to make sure that you guys are seen and heard. But let's sneak through right here, and we're going to walk through Shadow's old yard. I think it'll be easy to tell that Shadow's yard has got quite the haircut. Not only in terms of some trees being trimmed in a very good way, but also there's no roof on this yard like there once was. So certainly a change there. But as we kind of go and talk about, or rather I ask for some of your favorite memories of Miss Shadow, I think it's easy to find little signs of our precious girl in here. You can see some shadow scratches. And just like I keep talking about during this live, is that, you know, Shadow has maybe left some physical indications of her presence, like that scratch log back there, but Shadow has done, well, more than what words can kind of channel here, is that Shadow has left an impact on us that is exactly that, hard to put into words. And it is incredible, you know, me seeing a little scratch mark on a pole, just all these memories come flooding back to you, and it kind of chokes you up a little bit. But Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but we're doing this for cats like Shadow, and the next Shadow is so they can benefit from the type of compassion and love that Shadow got to have here at Sanctuary. So I'm glad we got to do a little walk through here and look at some Shadow signs. But hey, even better to think that a gift of $100, well, even $100 or more, is going to enter you into a drawing to win some of those Shadow remembrance keepsakes. I'm losing my breath here for a moment. But I do like being able to come down here and see some evidence of Shadow, kind of be in her former space together, and just kind of like I keep saying, just gain perspective for all that you guys make possible here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. But alas, I was hoping my comments would kind of turn back on here, but unfortunately not. But I know that, as always, you guys are probably loading them up with your contributions for your favorite Shadow memory. I could probably fill it up and then some. But thank you for joining me on today's live post, everyone. Please keep your ear to the ground here at Sanctuary as we move through our Healing Habitats campaign. Your donations are matched, but only until July 15th, which is my birthday, actually. So, hey, you can do it for the cats, and you can help support me, or help support the cats, rather, as my birthday wish. But nonetheless, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful and great rest of your Wednesday. Please stay cool wherever you are and stay safe. The rescues at the Wildcat Sanctuary certainly are. And finally, just drink in all that you're making possible for some of our current rescues and future rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary as we look at a new free-roaming habitat being constructed before our very eyes and outfitted with awesome things like this cave here. Okie dokie, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to today's live post, and we will see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary soon.